All right, blessed morning, everyone, and it's definitely a pleasure to have each and every one of you here this morning. Thank you for taking the time out to jump on and get some inspiration this morning. As I was mentioning to you guys earlier, I was filled with information and inspiration and motivation, and a wealth of knowledge was deposited or invested in me over the weekend. And I just thought that some of what I learned, that I could come and I could share it back with you this morning. It's only going to be just a little bit of what I would have learned, because we spent several hours for the last 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, getting what we got over the weekend. But I'm only going to be here for just a few minutes with you this morning. So there's just one thing that I want to share with you that I believe would help every single one of us. It got me thinking when I heard the speaker sharing this particular topic. And this is where you started, where you are, and where you want to be. Where you started, where you are, and where you want to be. See, the truth is that everybody starts somewhere. Every one of you had a start. Every one of us had a start. And our start would have been different in many different ways. Our start would have been different. Some persons were born to two biological parents. They had their both biological parents in their lives when they were born. Some persons, by the time they took their first breath, there was only one biological parent. And then there are some, they were given up for adoption from birth and never even knew either one of their biological parents. And now they've spent their life trying to find out who their real parents are, these kinds of things. So everybody had a different start in life. Some were born to money and some were not. Some were born without health issues and some were born with health issues. So there are so many different scenarios that we could look at of you having your start in life. The common thing here, however, is that we all started. We all started, and that's the common thing. We all started, and we all started somewhere. And you know what I realized over this weekend? When I listened to the stories of the various speakers, I realized that it's not important your situation or circumstance by which you started. That is not important. What is indeed important is the fact that you got a start. Thinking about starting, I could think about this motivational speaker. Wasn't one of them over the weekend, but it's one who I've listened to a couple of his speeches, and that's Nick. Nick, this man that was born without arms and legs. A very, very strange disorder, but he was born without arms and legs. And Nick obviously would have gone through a lot of different issues in his life, you know, being teased by his friends, you know, well, that can be his friends, but being teased by other children about his situation. And Nick would have faced depression. Nick had a lot of issues. I could even think about, you know, maybe so many times he probably thought or had suicidal thoughts. But Nick fought through his situation. The fact that he started somewhere, and Nick just took his start and made a life out of it. Now, Nick is one of the best motivational speakers in the world. And though he has not any arms and legs, Nick types 43 words per minute on the computer, on a keyboard. And it's just amazing to think about, because so many of us have so many excuses, sometimes even me, about where we started, and not realizing the fact that we got a start. Now we are here today, Monday, 6th of December, 2021. This is now where we are. We have arrived. Maybe not to the destination that you desire, because through your life, you've been thinking about things that you wanted to achieve, places you wanted to go, things you wanted to do, countries to travel to, vacations that you would have wanted to have, degrees that you probably plan to have at this time that you don't yet have. But the truth of the matter is that you are here. This is your present situation. This is your present life. This is where you are. And again, now there would have been, from where you started to where you are right now, there would have been some good times and there would have been some not so good times, and there would have been some ups and there would have been some downs, and there would have been some mountains and there would have been some valleys. But the truth of the matter is that you are here. You have arrived at this place today. And again, we will find ourselves making excuses about why we are where we are. But let me tell you something, guys. One thing that I learned over the weekend also, and I learned it before, but I was reminded of it over the weekend. One thing I learned about where we are right now is that it is actually a result of decisions that we would have made over a period of time that has us here today. By all means, you are here on this call this morning listening to me speak because you made a decision to be on the call. So our decisions that we made over time brought us to this place that we are right now. Whatever your situation is, doesn't matter. You have money, you don't have money. You living in an unforgiven state, or you living in a state of forgiveness. You living in hate, or you living in love. You have the car of your dreams, or you don't. You own a home, or you renting. You married, or you single, or you were married and you're now divorced. Whatever the situation is right now, it's a collection of decisions that we made over a period of time that brought us to December 6, 2021 in the current financial, spiritual, mental, physical place that we are right now. So make absolutely no excuse for where you are right now. Absolutely no excuse. Make none for where you are right now. But tell yourself that I am here today because of decisions that I would have made. I heard you. I heard what you said. You said, but one of the reasons I'm here today is because of what this person did to me, and that's why I'm here. No. Life is about 10% of the things that happens to us, because what happens to everybody, just in different ways. So 10% of what happens to us, but 90% of how we react to the things that happen to us. 90% how we react to the things that happens to us. So it's still, after something happens to you, you have to make a decision of how you are going to deal with it. And we could go into that this morning, but we don't have time for it. But just thinking about the COVID situation and how many persons, we heard it over the weekend, persons in similar businesses experience the same challenge. Some went out of business and some had their best 2 years ever because of decisions. So where you are right now is really because of a collection of decisions that you would have made over a period of time. The blessing is, though, I want you to just do this for me just for a quick second. Just take a very deep breath. Let it out. What you were just able to do, there are lots of people that can't do that right now. Not even my father-in-law that just left us on Saturday. I'm smiling this morning But I shed a lot of tears over the weekend in the middle of one of the biggest events of my life. My wife lost her dad. She's a daddy's girl, so she's shattered. He's a good friend of mine from my childhood. My wife and I grew up as childhood friends. So I know her dad even before we were in a relationship. And he taught me so many different values. If you go to my Facebook profile this morning, you will see I just did a live this morning and I titled that live Broken. I'm broken, but built. Because though I feel broken this morning from losing my father-in-law, I feel built because there are certain values that he was able to instill in me, even as a child, that helped me to be developed into the man that I am today and the husband that I am to my wife today because of him. So I'm broken, but I'm built. But I could take this deep breath this morning. He can't. You could take a deep breath this morning. And that's the blessing that you have. Forget all the excuses and all the reasons why you are here today, and just think about the fact that I am here. And because you have that blessing this morning, you have the ability to make some new decisions today, right now. Even while I'm speaking, you have the ability to make some new decisions today. To not think about where you started because you can't change that. To not think about where you are right now because you're already here. But what does your future look like? Where do you desire to be in the next day, in the next week, in the next month, in the next year, in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? Where do you desire to be? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to be? You have to be intentional about where you want to be. You have to be intentional about where you want to be. You can hear my son screaming in the background. And he's playing with a squeaky toy. I hope it's not disturbing you. But you have to decide where you want to be this morning. Make a conscious decision and be intentional about it. Dean Graziosi said over the weekend, multi-millionaire, top guy in sales training. And Dean Graziosi said over the weekend, he said, we must take uncomfortable action. We must take uncomfortable action. Those things that you don't want to do, those things that you're not comfortable doing, those are the things that you have to do this morning. If you want to arrive at the place that you desire to arrive at, you have to take uncomfortable action. That's one. Two, you must create a new plan. The plan that you had has you where you are today. The plan that you had, it has you where you are today. So it's uncomfortable to plan sometimes. It's really uncomfortable to just sit, have that vision for your life and where you want to be, and then you sit and you begin to plan things out, and some of these plans, it scares you and you're uncomfortable, but you must take the uncomfortable action of making these plans. You must take the uncomfortable action of having a vision for your life. You must take the uncomfortable action. And one of the next things that you need to do, number 3, is to create a new environment. You are not growing because your environment is toxic. The people that are in your life, some of them, they are toxic. It's poison. and they will not allow you to grow. And it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, some uncomfortable decisions that you have to make to allow some people to just be out of your life. It's an uncomfortable decision to make, to not accept some of the phone calls that you have been accepting, to not allow the 45 and 45-minute conversation and the 2-hour conversation sometimes that adds absolutely no value to your life and to your dreams and to your goals. But you have to take the uncomfortable action. One of the things that I wrote as one of the decisions that I have to make, that I can get to where I desire to be. Because I felt stuck also, just like you. I felt stuck for the last 4 years. I felt stuck. And I've done some things to take me to the next level that will help to take me to the next level. There are still some things that I have not yet done, and those things need to be done. I decided, and you don't have to do this, but it might help, but I decided that if it does not add value to my dreams and goals, it's not getting done. Say it again. If it does not add value to my dreams and goals, it's not getting done. One of the main reasons that you are not where you want to be is because everything else takes time. Everything else, it's taking up your time, but those things are not adding value, taking you steps closer to your dreams and goals. I'm saying to you today that this is a decision that I have made, and maybe it's the decision that you have to make also. That if it's not adding value to your dreams, to your goals, to where you want to be, that you're sick and tired of where you are, you didn't have the great start that some people have, but you have a vision for where you want your life to be. I'm saying to you, maybe you have to make the same decision today, just maybe, that if it's not adding value to my dreams and goals, it's not getting done. It's going to mean saying no to your mom. It's going to mean saying no to your dad, to your brother, to your sister, to close friends and family members and relatives. It's going to mean that. It's going to mean saying no to even your spouse and your children sometimes. So it's going to be a tough thing to do. It's going to be an uncomfortable thing to do. But do like me. I took the advice of those multi-millionaires and so powerful people over the weekend, and I sat my family down and we had a conversation so that they could understand where I am and my vision of where I want to be and the great part that they play in it. That's what you have to do. Get it done. I'm thankful that I could have received what I received over the weekend and even shared so much of it with my family. My wife was there with me at times, taking in some of the information. My children were there at times, taking in some of the information. And I felt a shift over the weekend. I'm encouraging you this morning. Take your life. Take your life and take control of it. Forget where you started and don't worry about where you are right now. What is important is the vision that you have for your life, where you want to be, and to know that even if it's going to be uncomfortable, even if it's going to be hard, remember this one thing, that it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Just do it, guys. Just do it. So I thank you very much for coming on this morning and listening to this video. And if you got any value at all from it, do a good thing and share it with someone. Love and appreciate you guys so much this morning.